Amelia was camping in the woods when she heard it, a small voice tinged with genuine distress. Her spine tingled. No one else was supposed to be out here. Grabbing her headlamp and a sturdy walking stick, she cautiously moved towards the sound, pushing aside thick ferns and low-hanging branches. That's when she saw her. A tiny figure, no older than 6, stood trembling beside a moss-covered boulder. Her dress, a simple cotton sundress, was streaked with dirt and snagged in several places. Her fair hair, tied in uneven pigtails, was disheveled with twigs and leaves. Large, tear-filled blue eyes, framed by long lashes, stared up at Amelia, wide with a mixture of fear and nascent hope. "Oh, sweetheart," Amelia murmured, kneeling slowly, trying not to startle the child. Her voice was gentle, soothing. "Are you lost? What's your name?" The little girl sniffled, wiping a grubby hand across her wet cheeks. "My name is Millie," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "Daddy brought me out here hunting. I saw a pretty flower, a really, really pretty purple one, and I wanted to pick it for Mommy. But when I looked up, Daddy wasn't there anymore." Fresh tears welled, spilling down her smudged face. As Millie spoke, Amelia felt a strange jolt. There was something undeniably familiar about the girl's delicate features, the shape of her eyes, even the slight tilt of her head. It was an unsettling echo of a memory she couldn't quite grasp, like a half-forgotten dream. She offered Millie a granola bar and a small bottle of water from her pack. "It's okay, sweetie. We'll find your daddy. Do you remember what he looks like? Or where he went?" Millie took a small bite of the bar, her trembling hands clutching it tightly. "He's big," she said simply between chews, "and he said we were playing a game, hide and seek, but he always comes back." Her innocent confidence was heartbreaking. Amelia tried to draw more information, her concern deepening with every vague answer. "Does your mommy know you're out here?" Millie shook her head, a faraway look in her eyes. "Mommy's sick. She's been sick for a long, long time. Daddy says she has to stay in her special room away from everyone, so she doesn't get other people sick." She paused, then a bright, almost unsettlingly cheerful smile bloomed on her face. "But she tells me stories every night through the door. My favorite is the one about the Moon Princess. And sometimes she sings." Her smile faltered slightly. "But her voice sounds a little off sometimes, like when she has a cold." Amelia's stomach twisted. A special room. This wasn't the typical story of a sick parent. It sounded more like confinement. The sense of familiarity intensified, prickling at the back of her mind. Could it be? She dismissed the thought. It was too bizarre. "That's why I wanted to pick the pretty flower," Millie continued, oblivious to Amelia's growing unease. "Daddy said flowers make sick people feel better. I wanted to make Mommy feel all better so she could come out of her room." Then, with the guileless innocence of a child, Millie reached into the small, dirt-stained pocket of her sundress. She pulled out a folded, somewhat crinkled piece of paper. It was a photograph, old and faded at the edges, but undeniably clear. Amelia's breath hitched. It was a picture of a young woman, perhaps in her late 20s, smiling brightly at the camera. She looked strikingly like Millie, only older. The woman in the photo had the same distinct, heart-shaped face and kind eyes that Amelia had seen plastered on bulletin boards and lampposts across town nearly a decade ago. Janet Anderson. The name screamed in Amelia's mind, cold and sharp. Janet Anderson, the local artist, declared missing 8 years ago. Her disappearance had been a local sensation, a chilling mystery that had never been solved. A missing person poster with that exact face had haunted Amelia's peripheral vision for months after she moved to the area. 8 years since Janet vanished. The pieces didn't just click, they slammed together with the force of a hammer blow. A cold dread spread through Amelia, numbing her limbs. This wasn't just a lost child. This was something far, far worse. The man Millie called Daddy wasn't a concerned parent. He had to be the one who took Janet, and here's a child birthed by a woman in a living nightmare. He must have groomed Millie from birth, kept her isolated, lied to her, perhaps even warped her perception of reality. Millie, Amelia managed, her voice barely a whisper, her heart pounding a frantic rhythm against her ribs. She forced herself to smile, to keep the fear from her eyes. We need to get back to my camp, right now. It's getting dark, and we need to call for help. She gently but firmly took Millie's small hand, her mind racing. She had to get them both out of here. Fast. Her campsite was only a short distance, her car keys and phone inside her tent. Adrenaline coursed through her veins, a primal urge to flee. They hurried through the thickening twilight, the familiar sounds of the forest now replaced by an ominous silence that amplified the thud of her own fear-stricken heart. Every rustle of leaves, every snapped twig, sounded like footsteps behind them. Finally, the small green dome of her tent came into view. Relief, potent and fleeting, washed over Amelia. She fumbled with the zipper, her hands shaking, her eyes scanning the dimly lit clearing for any sign of movement. As she unzipped the tent flap, the canvas parted, and a face stared back at her from the shadowy interior. A man. He was tall, with a lean build and a surprisingly calm, almost serene expression on his face. His eyes, though, held an unnerving glint. He smiled then, a slow, predatory curving of his lips that sent a chill straight to Amelia's bones. "Good job, Princess," he said, his voice a low, smooth rumble directed at Millie. "Looks like we will be having a welcome party for our new mommy tonight." Millie beamed, skipping a step closer to the man, utterly unaware of the horror unfolding around her. Amelia froze, her hand still on the zipper, her blood turning to ice. The man's gaze shifted to her, his smile widening, revealing a flash of white teeth in the dim light. In his hand, almost casually, he held a length of rope. The woods, once her sanctuary, had become her trap.